Right, listen up. I've got 3 stories that are going to blow up everything you thought you knew about this team. First up, our $40 million defensive back might be done. 3 games, 3 injuries, and a decision by polls that's looking like a ticking time bomb. Second, while everyone was sleeping, our running back just got ranked top 15 in the entire country, 1 spot ahead of a Philly star. And there's a rookie nobody saw coming. And third, a defensive coordinator just compared our rookie quarterback to a Hall of Famer because of one stat that's keeping coaches up at night. 0 sacks on 30 free rushes. But this Sunday, he's facing a monster, and a rookie tackle has to stop him. Stick around till the end, because this changes everything. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and get ready for the truth. First story. Let me be straight with you. This has me heated. Kyler Gordon, our $40 million nickelback, the guy this front office made the highest paid slot corner in the entire NFL, might be done for the season. And I gotta ask, how the hell did we get here? Let me lay it out for you, because this is bigger than it looks. This offseason, Ryan Poles made a bold move. Instead of waiting for Gordon to finish his rookie deal, he gave him a 3-year, $40 million extension early. The logic was simple. Lock him in before the market blows up. And honestly, I think that's a smart strategy when it works. But here's the problem, and it's a big one. Gordon has played exactly 119 snaps this season. 119 in 3 games. And in those 3 games, he's had 3 different injuries. I'm telling you right now, it doesn't matter how talented you are, how much impact you make when you're on the field. If you can't stay on the field, you're not worth $40 million. Period. And here's what really ticks me off. Head Matt Eberflus came out and said, "It doesn't look good." Those were his exact words about Gordon's injury. Doesn't look good. In Chicago, when a coach says that in December, it basically means start planning for next year. But hold up, because here's the part nobody is talking about. Dennis Allen, our defensive coordinator, mentioned Gordon as one of the first guys when he got to Chicago. Why? Because Gordon is special when he's healthy. He can cover the slot, blitz off the edge, stop the run. He's a complete weapon, and Allen knew that. Now imagine Allen's frustration. He comes to Chicago with a defensive plan built around having Jalen Johnson outside and Kyler Gordon inside. That's an elite combo. But Johnson's been out most of the year, Gordon's played basically 3 games, and Terrell Smith, who was supposed to be our CB4, tore his patella tendon in preseason. So I ask you, how's a defensive coordinator supposed to succeed when his entire secondary is in the damn infirmary? And yet, look at what Allen's done. He's taken spare parts, tweaked the scheme, and this defense is still keeping games close. That's high-level coaching. But let's go back to Gordon, because here's the real dilemma. This was the final year of his rookie deal. Poles tried to be smart by locking him up early to save money long term. And normally, I'd applaud that mindset. In today's NFL, the highest paid player at any position is always the next one to sign. So locking up young talent before the market explodes is a solid strategy. But in this case, I guarantee you, if Poles had waited, if he let Gordon play out this season first, that contract wouldn't be $40 million. A guy coming off a 3-game season doesn't break the bank, no matter how talented he is. And here's the cruel irony. The best ability in football is availability. And that's the one thing Kyler Gordon doesn't have. He's missed games every single year of his career. 14 games his rookie year. 13 the next. 15 after that. And now, in the year he was supposed to prove he was worth that massive deal, he's gonna finish with 3 games played. Soft tissue injuries, one after another, after another. That's a pattern, not bad luck. But here's where it gets interesting. CJ Gardner-Johnson, the guy we brought in mid-season to replace Gordon in the slot, has been solid. He's not as good in coverage, let's be real. But in run support, as a blitzer off the slot, he's been a threat, and he's available. He suits up every damn Sunday, so I ask you this. Would you rather have a guy who's a 10 out of 10 when he plays, but only shows up 30% of the time? Or a guy who's a 7 out of 10, but is there every week? Because that's the question Ryan Poles is going to have to answer this offseason. And don't get me wrong, I want Gordon to be part of this team's future. When he's healthy, he's one of the best defensive backs we've got. But $40 million for a guy you can't count on to suit up? That's a problem. It's a cap problem, a depth problem, a planning problem. Look at what happened this year. No Gordon, no Johnson for long stretches. We had to lean on corners who shouldn't be playing that many snaps. And even though Allen's done an amazing job with what he's got, we can't pretend it hasn't cost us games. Remember that Packers game? How many times did we see Jordan Love find wide open receivers because we just didn't have the speed or talent in coverage? That doesn't happen if Gordon and Johnson are healthy. So here's the million-dollar question. What do we do this off-season? Because Gordon's contract isn't going anywhere. It's guaranteed. So do we invest in more cornerback depth, bring in competition? Or do we just cross our fingers and hope Gordon finally stays healthy? I'll tell you this, in Chicago, we can't afford to hope someone stays healthy. We need depth. We need options. Because if this season taught us anything, it's that injuries are going to happen. And when they do, you better have a plan B, C, and D ready to go. The truth is this, Kyler Gordon is an elite player when he's on the field. But in the NFL, availability isn't just important, it's essential. And until Gordon proves he can play 17 games in a season, that $40 million deal is going to keep being a giant question mark. Do you think Kyler Gordon can finally stay healthy next season? Or is it time for the Bears to start looking for long-term alternatives? Second story. Now let's switch gears to something that's got me fired up in a good way. Because while everyone was sleeping on DeAndre Swift, this dude just got a national shout-out that's got the whole league buzzing. Maurice Jones-Drew, former NFL running back and current NFL Network analyst, just dropped his top 15 running backs heading into the final stretch of the season. And guess who made the list? DeAndre Swift, number 14. And get this, he's ranked one spot ahead of Saquon Barkley from the Eagles. Let me say that again, because I know some of y'all think you misheard. DeAndre Swift, our guy, is ranked ahead of Saquon Barkley, the same Barkley who just signed a monster deal with Philly and was supposed to run the NFC East. Now let me ask you, how many of you saw that coming back in August? Be honest. A few months ago, half this fan base wanted us to use our first-round pick on Ashton Jeanty. People were begging for Trevayon Henderson in the second round. Meanwhile, Swift, the guy we signed last year to a 3-year, $24 million deal, was just sitting there, waiting for his shot to prove his worth. And I'll tell you this, Ben Johnson knew Johnson worked with Swift in Detroit. He knew exactly what Swift could do in the right system with the right scheme. And look what's happened. Swift's got 173 carries this season for 837 yards and 5 touchdowns. But here's the stat that really matters. He's averaging 4.8 yards per carry. That's a full yard more than last year. In the NFL, that's a huge jump. And here's what Jones-Drew said about Swift, and this is key. The Bears have gone from zero to hero in one season, thanks to Ben Johnson's commitment to pounding the rock and controlling the clock. Swift's on pace for his second 1,000-yard season and is having his most efficient year since 2022, when he last played under Johnson in Detroit. See the pattern? Johnson and Swift together in Detroit. Success! They split. Swift struggles in Chicago. Johnson thrives in Detroit. Reunited in Chicago. Swift is elite again. That's not a coincidence. That's scheme. That's coaching. That's having an offensive coordinator who knows how to use his guys. But here's what's got me even more hyped. Kyle Monangai. This 7th-round rookie nobody expected to do anything has stepped up as one of the best rookie backs in the league. And that's been huge for Swift. Why? Because now Swift doesn't have to carry it 25 times a game. He can take 15 to 18 quality touches, stay fresh, and let Monangai grind out the tough yards late in games when we're trying to bleed the clock. Competition breeds success, and the Bears' running back room is the perfect example of that. Swift knows Monangai's right behind him. Monangai knows he's got to earn every snap, and the result? Both guys are balling out, and here's what nobody's talking about. Swift's running with fresh legs. Last year we ran him into the ground. Too many carries, too early, not enough help. His body wore down. This year, With Monangai sharing the load, Swift's hitting December feeling like it's September. That's smart resource management. That's long-term thinking. Because we don't just want Swift healthy now, we want him dominating in January when the games really matter. Let me ask you this. When was the last time the Bears had a run game you could trust? When was the last time we could say, we're going to run the ball and nobody's going to stop us? Since the Matt Fort days, we've been searching for that identity. And now, finally, we've got it back. And yeah, I know some folks are saying, but Swift's making $8 million a year. That's a lot for a running back. And they're right. It is a lot. But here's the truth. In today's market, for a back who can give you 1,000 yards, catch passes, and protect the QB, $8 million is a bargain. Look at what other teams are paying. Look at Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs. Swift at $8 million, that's a steal. And here's the other thing. Swift isn't just a runner. He's a weapon in the passing game. He can run routes out of the backfield, catch passes in the flat, convert third and shorts. That versatility is priceless in Johnson's system, because here's what Johnson's doing. He's using Swift as a multi-threat. Defenses don't know if he's running, staying into block, or slipping out for a pass. That uncertainty opens up the whole field for Caleb Williams. And that brings me to my final point about Swift. He's been crucial for Caleb's development. When you've got a run game that works, when you can move the ball on the ground, it takes pressure off your rookie QB. Caleb doesn't have to win games with his arm every week. He can manage, take what the defense gives him, and grow without the weight of the world on his shoulders. That's what a great run game does for a young quarterback, and Swift has been the foundation of that. So when I see Maurice Jones-Drew put Swift in his top 15, when I see him ranked ahead of Saquon Barkley, I'm not surprised. Because if you've been paying attention, if you've been watching what Swift's done this year, you know he's earned it. Do you think DeAndre Swift can keep up this level of play and carry us to the playoffs? Or does Kyle Monangai need to take on an even bigger role down the stretch? Third story. Now let's get to the story that's got the whole league talking. And it's all about our quarterback, Caleb Williams. Because Browns defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz just made a comparison that carries some serious weight. Schwartz compared Caleb Williams to Fran Tarkenton. Fran Tarkenton, the Hall of Fame quarterback who basically invented the dual threat QB concept. The guy they called the Scrambler decades before, that was even a thing. And here's exactly what Schwartz said. Listen close, because this is big. I saw a stat somewhere that he's had 30 unblocked blitzers or rushers come at him. And he's taken 0 sacks from those guys. So he just has this ability to see them coming somehow, eyes in the back of his head, make them miss, and then extend plays. 0 sacks on 30 free rushers. Let that sink in. 30 times this season, someone came completely unblocked at Caleb, and 30 times, Caleb found a way to avoid it. Let me ask you, how many quarterbacks in the NFL can do that? 5? 3? Maybe 1? This isn't luck. This isn't random. This is elite skill. It's field vision, spatial awareness, athleticism, and pure instinct all working together. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Schwartz continued. And when he does that, he threatens the entire field. He can throw across his body 50 yards downfield, and he can dot the I when he does it. So it's not just about taking away the run game. It's about taking away the scrambles to throw. That puts a ton of pressure on the defense. That's a defensive coordinator admitting that Caleb Williams is a nightmare to game plan for. You can't just blitz him and hope he panics. You can't just spy him and think you've solved the problem. Caleb can throw from any angle, from any platform, to any part of the field. And I know Caleb's still a work in progress. He's got to tighten up his short throws. He's got to get better at reading defenses pre-snap. He's got to protect the ball better in some situations. But, and this is a big but, the things Caleb can do that other quarterbacks can't are the things that win games in January. They're the things that win Super Bowls. Look at that touchdown he threw to Olamide Zacchaeus against the Packers last week. That window was the size of a pizza. And Caleb threaded it perfectly while rolling left, under pressure, with defenders in his face. Or that sideline dart to Cole Kmet. Caleb escaped the pocket, sprinted toward the sideline, and while being chased, fired a laser that only Komet could catch. That's a 1 in a million throw. And here's what gets me excited about the future. Caleb's making these plays as a rookie. Imagine what he'll be when he's got 3, 4, 5 years in the league, when he really understands defenses, when he's got full chemistry with his receivers, when the game slows down for him. Because here's the truth. The game's still fast for Caleb. He's still processing. He's still learning. And he's still making plays that have Hall of Fame coordinators comparing him to legends. But here's the challenge. Caleb's going to face this Sunday Myles Garrett, one of the best defensive ends in NFL history, a guy who can wreck games by himself. And guess who's going to be blocking him most of the time? Ozzy Trapilo, our rookie offensive tackle. Let me ask you, do you think that's going to work? Do you think we can ask a rookie to block Myles Garrett in a potentially frozen game in Cleveland? The answer is probably not, which means Ben Johnson's going to have to get creative. Tight end chips, running back help, quick throws, rollouts to move Caleb away from Garrett. But here's the beauty of having Caleb Williams. Even when the protection breaks down, even when Garrett beats Trapilo, Caleb has the ability to make Garrett miss, escape the pocket, and turn a disaster into a positive play. That's the difference between having a statue in the pocket and having a dynamic quarterback. A statue takes that sack. Caleb turns that sack into a 15-yard gain. And look, I know we can't rely on Caleb to escape pressure every play. That's not sustainable. That's not how you win championships. But the fact that he can do it, that he's got that tool in his bag, is a massive equalizer. Schwartz said it best. Caleb threatens the entire field when he's on the move, and that puts pressure on every level of the defense. Linebackers have to respect his legs. Safeties have to respect his deep ball. Corners have to stay in coverage longer. That's exhausting for a defense. And in a December game, in the cold, when defenders are tired, when they've been chasing Caleb around for 3 hours, that's when he takes over. And here's my prediction for Sunday's game. The Browns are going to bring pressure. They're going to blitz. They're going to try to rattle Caleb. And yeah, there'll be moments where it works. But there will be 2 or 3 plays where Caleb does something magical. He'll escape a sure sack. He'll throw an impossible touchdown. He'll run for a crucial first down. And those 2 or 3 plays will be the difference in the game. Because that's what special quarterbacks do. They make the plays others can't. Fran Tarkenton made those plays in the 60s and 70s. Patrick Mahomes makes them now. And Caleb Williams is showing he can make them too. So when I hear Jim Schwartz make that comparison, when I hear a defensive coordinator who's been in the league for decades say Caleb reminds him of a Hall of Famer, I listen! Because defensive coordinators don't throw out those comparisons lightly. They've seen hundreds of quarterbacks in their careers. And when one stands out, when one keeps them up at night, they know Caleb Williams is that kind of quarterback. And even though he's still refining his game, even though he's still learning how to be more efficient in the traditional sense, he can always fall back on his unmatched creativity to make something out of nothing. And his opponents know it. Jim Schwartz knows it. Myles Garrett knows it. And this Sunday, the whole world's going to see why Caleb Williams is the future of this franchise. Do you think Caleb Williams can rise to the challenge against Myles Garrett and the Browns' defense? Or do we need the offensive line to step up big time this Sunday? All right, we just broke down 3 stories that define exactly where the Chicago Bears stand at this crucial point in the season. We've got Kyler Gordon potentially out for the year, a major loss for our secondary, but also a chance for others to step up. We've got DeAndre Swift getting national recognition as one of the league's top backs, proving this run game is legit and here to stay. And we've got Caleb Williams being compared to a Hall of Fame quarterback by a defensive coordinator who knows what he's talking about. So let me ask you this. Can the Bears make the playoffs with this mix of challenges and strengths? Is it enough to have Swift running like a beast and Caleb doing magic if our secondary is banged up? Or do we need those backup corners to play the game of their lives? I believe we can do it. I believe this team has the pieces. But it's going to take everyone being on the same page. It's going to take Ben Johnson staying creative. It's going to take Dennis Allen continuing to maximize what he's got. And it's going to take Caleb Williams making those special plays when we need them most. But here's what I need from you. I want to know what you think. Which of these three stories worries you the most? Gordon's injury, the reliance on Swift, or the challenge Caleb's about to face against Myles Garrett? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. And while you're at it, join the family, because that's what we are here. We're not just a YouTube channel. We're a community of Bears fans who live and breathe this team. So if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications, because I guarantee we've got more explosive news coming tomorrow. And you do not want to miss what's next for Chicago. Smash like if you think Swift deserves that national recognition. Subscribe if you believe Caleb can overcome any challenge thrown his way. And comment if you think this defense can hold it together without Kyler Gordon. Because at the end of the day, we are the Bears. We're the city of broad shoulders. We're the city that never quits. And no matter how many injuries we face, no matter how many obstacles come our way, we're gonna fight to the end. Bear down, Chicago. I'll see you in the next video.